What is going on, YouTube people? Well, it appears we have hit a little bit of a plateau point in the wonderful world of sealed Pikachus. The booster box prices jumping 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50% every other day seems to have slowed way down. Prismatic's still jumping around like crazy, and Journey Together is still all over the place, but those two will not be the focus of today. We are going to look back to previously released product because everything has shot up over the last couple of months. And then I noticed the last week or so, everything is kind of stagnating or just slightly creeping up, which to be honest is not super surprising. Let's look at some crazy percentages from the last 60 days, and then we'll go back and look at the same stuff, but in a much shorter time frame, and you'll see how things have slowed down quite a bit. Today, we are in Market Movers. Link is in the description down below with a little bit of a promo code. You can get 2 weeks for free, and if you sign up with a plan, you can get 20% off for life. You can do singles over there, and you can also do sealed wax, which is what we were doing today. And they have handy little tools like this. We are in the price movements section. I have limited the category to Pokemon, booster boxes, and then we're just looking at the last few years. I sorted by most expensive to least expensive, so Evolving Skies obviously hops up to the number 1 spot. If you look back over the last 60 days, and we scroll down this list, what I want you to pay attention to is the price percentage change category, which is this first one on the left. And you see some absurd numbers. Up 64%, up 85%, up almost 50%, 55% on Chilling Reign. Sword and Shield base really hasn't moved much at all. Astral Radiance up 60%. Surging Sparks up 40%. Stars up 45%. Paldea Evolved up 50%. Silver Tempest up almost 40%. Darkness Ablaze, which is not even that popular of a set, up 35%. Rebel Clash down slightly. Twilight Masquerade up 45%. Obsidian Flames up 30%. You get the point here. Basically, everything is up huge percentages. As we get to the more modern stuff, the Scarlet and Violet stuff, you see smaller percentage increases, like in the 20s to 30s to 40s. And when you look at the older stuff, you're seeing these much larger jumps, which makes sense. There's less supply out there, so they can jump a lot faster. So that's looking at the last 60 days. Now, if we back this up to 14 days, it paints a much different picture. Now, Skies is still way up because those just recently jumped to 1,400 a box. But now look, Fusion Strike, it had its big market correction. Over the last 2 weeks, it's only up 6%. Lost Origin, only up 2%. Chilling Reign up 20%. Sword and Shield base actually down slightly. Astral Radiance up 22, 15, 20, 25. Still going up, but not huge jumps like we were seeing. And in fact, you're even seeing some stuff in the red. Now it's very small. So it's basically just, a couple sales here or there could drop it down a couple percentage points, but it's not going to the moon. When I shorten this up to 7 days, it gets even, air quotes, worse. Sky's only up 20%, and now we're seeing a lot more red. Fusion Strike actually ticking down a little bit the last 10 days. Lost Origins flat. Chilling Reign down 12%. Sword and Shield base down 13%. These ones up about 10%, up 15%, up 8%. Once again, a little bit more red here. And some even more red down here towards the bottom of the list with some of the cheaper boxes. And like I said, I think this is fairly expected. Let's look at specialty sets really quick as well. I pulled up Crown Zeniths, 151, and Paldean Fates, as those are kind of the hottest of the three. This is on ETBs. Once again, 60 days, 151 up 55%, Crown Zenith up 110%, Paldean Fates up 20%. If we back that off to 14 days, 151 is still up, Zenith is flat, Fates is down slightly. And if we back it down to 7 days, and there's still lots of volume going on here. This is number of sales over here. Only up 5%, and down 20% on Fates, as Fates has been getting some very small restocks on Target this past week or so. So, what does this all mean? Are we all going to zero? Is this where the zero train starts? I don't think so. I think this is just your standard level up. It's just everything leveled up at the exact same time. The whole market basically played catch up and everything went wild. And now, all the people that, not all, but essentially, and Rudy's talked about this a ton over at Alpha Investments. If I was into these boxes for 80, 90, $100 a box, and all of a sudden they fly up to 150, 200, 250, that is going to bring sellers to market. Not everyone wants to hold until they're put into the ground and then their wife or their kid or grandkid ends up selling it for them because they held so long that they died. There's that segment of people, but not everybody is like that. Some people say, I bought this for 100, I can now sell it for 200. I'm good. I'll take my profits. I'll move on to the next thing. Perfectly fine. I held it for a few years. This worked out exactly to plan for some folks out there. They bought it. It doubled. Some cases it tripled. The market's hot as hell. They can exit out of it, get that cash back in their pocket, and go move on to the next thing. Maybe they'll put that towards Journey Together. Maybe Prismatic. Maybe they'll just stash it and choose their spots here and there as they go forward. Who knows? But that brings a lot of inventory to market. So all of a sudden you had this big influx in demand, gobbled up all the supply, the prices shot up, and because the prices shot up, it now brought more inventory to market because people now want to sell at these inflated prices. And demand is still there. It has just now come closer to balancing out. That's why you're not seeing prices shoot way up or shoot way down. The amount of product coming to market is getting gobbled up by the current buyers for the most part. You're seeing some slight downticks here, which once again is also normal. We see this all the time in sports cards, in comic books, and in TCGs when something gets hot. It usually overshoots the moon, then cracks back down, and then usually levels out at a new plateau for a while. And then everyone that bought at 100 and is now selling at 200 or 250, those buyers that are buying at 200 or 250, now they have to play the waiting game. Now they are in, I got to put it on the shelf and hold it to see what happens going forward. And hopefully those people that paid the iron price, the inflated prices, have a long-term time horizon because it might take a while for them to be able to make their profits. I think where a lot of people are potentially going to get burned diving into sealed Pokemon like this that haven't been doing it for a while is the patience game. It doesn't work like this usually, where you buy it last week for $250 and then by the time it gets shipped to you, it's a $500 box and you're instantly flipping it. That's how things were in the pandemic days. It doesn't normally work like that for sealed Pokemon. Not usually. It's a much more slow and steady wins the race type mentality. So if those people that bought at 200, 250, 500, Evolving Skies at 1400, whatever the case might be, if they're willing to take that and sit it on a shelf and forget about it for a while, I think they'll end up doing fine. There might be some dips and dives and it might go up, it might go down, but I think in the end result, if they're willing to be patient, they'll probably do quite well on their stuff. Typically, all Pokemon does that. But you have to have the patience for it. If they are not willing to tie up that capital and inventory space and everything else for a longer time horizon, that's where people could get in trouble. That's going to be the key for the next little bit. Are those people, two things. Are those people willing to hold if things just stay flat? Or do they go, this is taking up too much space, I need the money, and then they sell? And on the flip side, does demand stay up? Whether that's sealed investors buying, rip and shippers, collectors, just people that want to open some packs. Does that demand remain? And does it chew through the existing supply on the market? Do the rip and shippers still need fed and eventually things go out of balance again and prices level up again? Or do things slow down and then the inventory coming to market because people don't want to hold swings out of balance the other way, and then that's when you'll see prices come down? But right now we feel like it feels like we are in, and the numbers back it up, we're basically in kind of a plateau period for a lot of sealed wax. I think part of that as well could be money getting siphoned off to Prismatic Evolutions, which is about to release this week. Journey Together, a lot of people are pre-ordering that now. So people are on the chasing the new thing or getting ready to spend money on the new thing, and it might be sucking money out of the older stuff. The next 30, 60, 90, I think will be very telling in regards to how the older stuff holds up, at least in the short to medium term. But that's where we're at right now. Looks like we're taking a little bit of pause on the everything is going to the moon. Maybe we got to the moon, maybe we overshot the moon, maybe we're not quite to the moon yet, but most of the journey is complete, at least in this phase of the market, it appears. That's all I got. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.